Welcome to the Prairie Trail. Good morning, everyone. I am at the intersection of Scott Street and Souwanas Trail in the village of Algonquin, Illinois. Right here is the separation point between the Fox River Trail going south. It'll go down about 38.5 miles all the way down to Oswego, Illinois, or heading north, which will take you about 26-ish miles basically to the Wisconsin border in Genoa City. So this is mile marker 0 of the Fox River Trail heading south. You can see here it'll take you about 38.5 miles to get to Oswego. On this side here is also mile marker 0 of the Prairie Trail that cuts through all of McHenry County. So that's the ride that we're going to do this morning. It's one of the two closest big trails, the Fox River Trail and the Prairie Trail. So I'm on these trails all the time. I've never actually done a video of the full trail. So today's ride is going to be the Prairie Trail heading north all the way to where it ends. I should also note that that intersection at Scott Street and Souwanas Trail also is the dividing line between McHenry County to the north and Kane County to the south. So right at the beginning of the trail, they do have a map. This trail starts out paved, and once you get into the town of Ringwood, which is much further north, is where it goes to crushed limestone. And on that section of the trail, you can also ride horses. I should also point out here that they do have a little container for maps, and they do in fact have maps, so that's very useful. Okay, so we're officially heading north now. The day is absolutely beautiful, sunny, mid-70s, no wind. Earlier this week we got hit with several days in a row with severe weather. We had like 7 tornadoes in and around the northern Illinois area, as I read earlier in the week. So I'm expecting the possibility of a little flooding in certain parts of the trail. Also, the trail is not as clean, although it's pretty clean here. It's not as clean as it was the last time I rode it, and that's to be expected after a lot of severe weather. This is the Fox River in Algonquin, Illinois. They got a nice wooden bridge here. The Fox River continues south, dumps out into the Illinois River all the way down in Ottawa, Illinois. And going north, it goes into Wisconsin. A couple of weeks ago, I did a ride called the White River State Trail in Burlington, Wisconsin, and it also crosses the Fox River. So I'm at the intersection of Route 31 and Main Street. This whole area here was just revamped last year. It's really nice looking now. It's probably gonna be hard to see with the glare, but really Algonquin spared no expense here. They have an interactive map here where you can zoom in and look around. You can see all the restaurants and bars. You can see the trail. You could choose how to get to a variety of places here. Very cool. I like to see more of this on trails. As far as this area goes, they have places to lock up your bike. They have some picnic tables here, garbage cans. They have a drinking fountain. They have bike tools. Large variety of bike tools here with a pump. That's very nice. But there are no restrooms here. Just a little further north, we're gonna get to a restroom area. Maybe the glare will be a little less here. So when you get to this park in Algonquin, they have another one of these setups where you can, it shows you where you are. It shows you the trail and other trails in the area. Very cool. I wanted to point out that at mile marker 0 of the Prairie Trail, there is no parking. So if you're interested in starting the trail from the southern end, stopping at this park here in Algonquin is your best option. There's an actual park for kids to play. There's a pavilion with plenty of shaded spots to eat. They have a restroom, garbage cans, pretty much everything you would need for a starting point. And it's about a mile north of mile marker 0 at Souwanas Trail. So this is your best bet for parking. So about a mile and a half into the ride, there's this new connector trail that they're calling Maker's Park Bike Path. It doesn't go very far, but I will ride it just so you guys can see it. At the beginning of the season last year, it was not here, so this is a recent addition to the trail. So like I said, the Maker's Park Bike Path doesn't go very far, but it does connect in to this street here, which gives you access to other businesses. So the more connector paths, the better. And I gotta say, in about 4,000 miles of trail riding the past year and a half or so, I've never encountered a sign that's printed in satellite view. All right, we're gonna head back to the Prairie Trail and keep working our way north. Now my numbers are going to be a little off because of that little ride I did on the Maker's Bike Path, but it says 2.1 miles in. Right after Algonquin Road, we have access to another parking lot and bathrooms. In order to access that parking lot and bathrooms, there's a pretty big hill. So my advice is if you have to use the bathroom, use it in Algonquin. Only use this bathroom if you absolutely have to. But I'm gonna go up the hill just so you guys can see exactly what's up there. So this area has a bathroom, has a decent sized parking lot. There's a trail map up there. They have a barbecue here. They have a couple of picnic tables that are in shade, and then make your way down the steep hill. Also note, they want you to dismount your bike and walk down the hill. Another area of interest, I guess just probably of just interest to me, this is that area. I'll insert the footage, but this is the area where I slid on the snow and ice earlier in the season and went down.
Previously on Cynical Zombie.
I landed in snow, I didn't get hurt any, but definitely a wake-up call that the traction is not always going to be there when you have ice and snow to deal with. Well, as you hopefully saw on the time warp, there was some pretty big tree damage back there that looks like it would have been blocking the trails in multiple sections. So it's nice that that's all cleaned up now. At this point on the trail, you're right next to an airport, a little airport, the Lake in the Hills airport. We're at about 5 miles north from the starting point. You come across a gas station here, so that gives you easy access to anything you need. It says mile marker 4 is what I just passed. So just past that gas station, you'll come across a bridge. This bridge crosses Rakow Road, which if you're heading ultimately south, it turns into Randall Road, and Randall Road runs quite a bit further south. Right now we're at the corner of Virginia Road and Piatt Road. The trail does a double cross on this intersection here. We're in Crystal Lake, Illinois. At this intersection, you'll find Nick's Pizza. Nick's Pizza has, in my opinion, the best thin crust pizza in McHenry County. So if you're ever in the area and you haven't checked them out, definitely check out Nick's Pizza. Okay, just past mile marker 5, they have trail parking here and a restroom. I should also note that restroom was locked the entirety of last year and quite a bit into spring of this year. So this is the first time we've actually seen it open and accessible. The parking lot is right here. If this fills up, there's another parking lot a little further down that I'll point out that looks pretty similar. But this is mile marker 5 on the Prairie Trail. Or I should say just past mile marker 5 on the Prairie Trail. It looks like they also have maps here. And there are maps in there. They had drinking fountains back there. They had a shady spot to take a break, picnic. Okay, so just a little further up is that secondary parking area for the trail. And that's close to the intersection of Main Street and US 14, which Northwest Highway. So roughly 6.5 miles into the ride, we're at the corner of Crystal Lake Avenue and Main Street here. Once you've made it this far north, you have access to all of downtown Crystal Lake. So just on the other side of that street over there, you'll have access to restaurants and bars, and they have the Rouse Center for the Arts there. So I'm at the corner of Crystal Lake Avenue and East Street in Crystal Lake. It's at this point where the bike trail is on road. So there is actually no trail between here and Stearns Woods. So that's where we're headed. But they're all side streets, so it's not that big of a deal. I should also note here, signage is pretty poor, because if you're looking around, you could see the sign over there, way across the street, shows a bike route. That's not the same route that we're on right now, so be aware of that. We need to turn left here on East Street. This is Route 176. We have to cross here. You should note, while this particular street I don't find particularly dangerous, speed limit here I believe is 30 miles an hour. But Crystal Lake or McHenry County, they really should come up with the cash to put one of those crossings in where you hit the button and they're solar powered and it lights up. I think that would be a great addition to the trail right at this intersection. As you saw back there, there was signage indicating that the trail continues down this road. So basically this trail, well, the on-road portion of this trail on Lorraine Drive dumps into a little gravel parking lot at the bottom of Stearns Woods. Now, Stearns Woods is what I call the exciting portion of the Prairie Trail. It's very hilly. I'd advise you to make sure your brakes are good if you plan on riding down some of these hills, because there's one hill in particular where if you're at the top of the hill and you don't pedal at all and you just push yourself down the hill, by the time you're at the bottom of the hill, you'll be going 30 miles an hour. So be aware of that. So it's Veteran Acres, Wingate Prairie is what this parking lot is. So before I go through here, the other thing I wanted to advise you of is deer. Watch out for deer. There's been times I've come through this area and I've seen over a dozen deer. We've seen baby deer. We've seen deer that get scared away the second they see you. We've also seen deer that seem to stand their ground and don't care that you're going right past them pretty closely. The closer you get to dusk, the more deer you're going to see. So watch out for that, because no joke, we've had some close calls in this section of trail. This is that hill I was talking about earlier. If I start right here and then just put my feet on the pedal, let the momentum take me, by the time I get to the bottom, I could be doing 30. I should also point out there's a deer right there, right on the trail. This whole area has deer in it. So, and it's actually gonna be a little harder to see them with the taller weeds here, or prairie grass, whatever this is. But there's that deer up there. He's just standing there. He is standing his ground so far. Here he goes. Okay, so we're out of Stearns Woods. Once you come out of Stearns Woods, you'll end up at basically Hillside Road trail access. Here we have garbage cans, picnic tables, restroom, place to lock your bike up. They have a map down this way. It's a decent gravel lot. Be aware that you could get locked in here if you're way past sunset, but this is a good place to start from in either direction. So right around mile marker 10, I don't think we've hit that quite yet. Looks like they put tools here. I'm pretty sure it wasn't here the last time I rode this trail. So they have a pump and a variety of tools here. They have a little shaded spot to sit. Very nice addition to the trail. For reference, we're right near the Nunda Township Road District. the Prairie Trail is a wonderful trail. The more little additions like that, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Add some better signage in some spots, add more tools on a regular basis. Make sure you have restrooms accessible every 5 miles or so. This is the finest trail in McHenry County, but then again, it's the longest one, and there aren't that many in McHenry County. So nothing even close to this in length. Okay, so we're right around mile marker 13 at the intersection of the Prairie Trail and Bull Valley Road. You could also see the train tracks right here. I believe that is the metro line for McHenry. At this intersection at Bull Valley Road, this is, in my opinion, the worst crossing of the 26-ish mile Prairie Trail. Right now it's not incredibly busy, so I could get across without a lot of issue, but we cross Bull Valley Road quite a bit when we do dinner rides after work, so that puts us right in rush hour, and during rush hour this is a horrible crossing. McHenry County really needs to step it up and get one of those solar powered lights with the button so traffic is aware that you're there, and then they will stop for you to get through. Otherwise, you could be sitting here for quite a while if you don't have drivers that are willing to cooperate. Around 14 miles into the ride, we reached the city of McHenry, Illinois. About 15 miles in, we'll reach Fort McHenry in the city of McHenry. It's a big elaborate park. They also have restrooms here, but note, during COVID last year, they were locked the most of the year, so be aware of that. They have shady places to eat here, take a break. It looks like they also have rental bikes here, some sort of rental bike system. They also have a couple of vending machines, but those vending machines are not currently on, so that's unfortunate. Right after that park, we hit Route 120, so it's a major intersection, but they do have a crosswalk that's painted, and there's a variety of options to eat here as well. The signage at that intersection is not the greatest, so if you're following AllTrails, you'll be fine. Other than that, just watch the turns that I made. So after you cross Route 120 in McHenry, the next stop would be McCullum Lake. My wife and I have done lunch and dinner rides by grabbing some food on the way and then stopping here at McCullum Lake to picnic. McCullum Lake has a beach here. I've never actually seen it in use. I imagine that was due to COVID. I'm actually a little surprised that it's not open right now. So as a result, I believe the bathrooms aren't open at all either. So that's unfortunate. We've been here at least a dozen or more times, and the restrooms that they have here have never been open. So way back there, there's a ton of picnic tables that aren't set up. Now, there are girls playing beach volleyball. The beach is not in use at all. So it's a beautiful Saturday in August. I'm actually quite surprised that this isn't being more utilized. Well, I stand corrected. The restrooms were in fact open. This is the first time I have been here when those restrooms are open. So we passed a trail closed ahead sign. It wasn't blocking the trail, it was just posted right next to the trail. So we'll ride as far north as we can go and take a look at what's stopping us from continuing north. The section of trail we're riding on now was recently replaced towards the end of the season, if I remember correctly. Last year, they replaced this entire section with new pavement. So I want to talk a second about trail closed signs. So like I said, I only have about 4,000 miles experience on trails in Illinois and Wisconsin. And during those rides, I've encountered several trail closed signs. And right off the top of my head, I could only think of 2 examples where the trail was in fact closed. The rest of the time I encountered a sign like this, the trail was completely passable. My guess is this is likely an issue with just the people who put up the trail closed signs. They're not taking them down in time. So I'm going to go past this sign. I'm going to continue forward. I've been on this trail enough to know that the section that they have closed off is a section that floods. So it hasn't rained in the past couple days. I have an e-bike with 26-inch fat tires. I could go through water, and I have gone through water before. So I'm going to continue north and just see how far I can get. If I have to turn around, then I'll make another video right there and explain what happened. Otherwise, my intent is to continue on here. Hello. Is it clear all the way down?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. See what I mean? It's clear all the way down. So when you close a trail, my advice is, the second that the trail is rideable, take the signs down. Welcome to Ringwood, Illinois. Just past mile marker 19 is where you're going to run into the town of Ringwood, Illinois. At this crossing here on Ringwood Road, on that side it's paved all the way down to where I started. On this side, it's where the section becomes crushed limestone, and it's no longer paved from here all the way through the end of the trail. When I talk about intersections that should have a solar-powered crossing system, this is exactly what I'm talking about here. So we have a button to press, the light starts to flash on both sides. Traffic usually responds to that, so they really need a setup like this on Bull Valley Road. Just a little further up from that Ringwood Road crossing, we hit the Rusty Nail. Now, there have been many times where my wife and I would start a ride further south on this trail. We'd ride up to the Rusty Nail right here in Ringwood, Illinois. We'd get food for carryout, and then we'd take it back down to McCullum Lake and do a picnic there. So if you're in the area and you want to give that a try, that is definitely one of the nice things you could do on this trail. Also wanted to point out, they have horse parking here as well. So further north past Ringwood on the Prairie Trail, we hit Glacial Park. It's right off of Harts Road. You can see on this map, probably looks even blurry to me, but we're the red dot right here. The trail ends right up here. So, and then there's the Hebron Trail, which takes you to Hebron. But the Prairie Trail ends right up here. So we're not too far from the end of the trail. From this location, you have access to trail parking. You also have a bike rack there. You have restrooms. You also have access to shaded picnic tables. This part of McHenry County is really beautiful. So right before you get into Richmond, you run across this new area, which Hackmatack National Wildlife Refuge. Looks like bikes are not allowed but they do have a spot where you can lock your bike and then go off on a little hike and come back if you want. And they do have a picnic table up there, though it's not shaded. So once you make your way into Richmond, you have access to a gas station right here, and it looks like a Rosati's Pizza across the street. So this would be your last opportunity for a restroom, or if you needed to pick up something to drink. So the trail intersects with a street called Broadway. If you turn right as you're headed north, if you turn right on Broadway, you have access to like downtown Richmond. They have places to eat here. You just passed a martini bar. This whole area is quite active during dinner time. And then the trail is just right here. Okay, so 25.5 miles later, I'm at the end of the Prairie Trail. Unfortunately, they don't have like a big sign welcoming you to the Prairie Trail here. So where this trail ends really depends on what map you look at. I reached out to McHenry County Conservation District. They said the official end of the Prairie Trail is right here at this intersection. So if you go like 0.3 miles this way, you're going to run into like right into a neighborhood in Genoa City, Wisconsin. If you go this way, this is the start of the Hebron Trail.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Which will take you all the way to Lang Road, and then there's this little weird part you have to do. And then if you traverse that, you will make your way all the way to the town of Hebron. So this map here that I picked up at the beginning of the trail says that the trail is 26 miles long. Although if you look right here, right where we're at, it says that we're 25.5 miles to the Kane County line. Well, the Kane County line was mile marker 0. So it's a little confusing as to where it actually ends. It's unfortunate, like I said, that they don't have signage indicating that. So what makes it even weirder is if you continue down towards this way, towards the Hebron Trail, they actually have mile markers that continue on. So mile marker 26 is here, mile marker 26.5 is here. So just because I'm here, what I'm gonna do is actually go down both of these ends here so you can kind of get an idea what it looks like. I'm gonna head down this way first just to run into the Wisconsin border. And then we'll make our way back to this intersection here. And then I'm going to go down this way and show you guys a couple of those mile markers. But then basically, that is the end of the Prairie Trail here in McHenry County. Now, when I reached out to McHenry County to ask about where the trail ends, they told me, if I remember correctly, the way they worded it was they no longer take care of this section here. So I don't know who takes care of this section. Obviously, it becomes more narrow. So I don't know who actually maintains this section of the trails, but it's not considered part of the Prairie Trail. Okay, so the trail dumps out right into this street. I think it was called Southeastern Court. You can see right here the gravel path going in. So what's really awesome for these people who live here is if they're into biking or e-biking, is from this point you could literally make it, I don't know, almost 70 miles all the way down to Oswego, Illinois, and most of that is going to be paved. It's pretty impressive that you can get that far on a dedicated trail. Okay, well, that was at 0.3 miles each way to make it to Genoa City, Wisconsin. And now we're back at the intersection here. That's the way back home. Here is that Hebron Trail. We're going to ride up there, and I'm going to show you guys the mile markers there. They don't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. Okay, well, so it doesn't take us very long to get to mile marker 25.5. The weird part here is if you look at the map here, again, it says that at that intersection, that trail intersection, we were 25.5 miles away. So I'm not sure what the deal with that is. And it says the Prairie Trail is actually 26 miles. So we're going to continue down this trail here. Okay, so I'm at mile marker 26. It also says that what we're riding on right now is through the North Branch Conservation Area, and it's a 1.5 mile trail link that connects the Prairie Trail to the Hebron Trail. So if that's the case, then I really don't understand the mile markers here, because it says that this is mile marker 26. So is this the end of the Prairie Trail? Okay, so mile marker 26.5. I won't bring out the map again. I've already shown it a couple times, but kind of makes you wonder exactly where this trail ends. If this is a 1.5 mile connector trail, then why on earth is there a mile marker 26.5? So in my time, in the year and a half or so, I've been looking in to the Prairie Trail online. I have seen references that this is a 25 mile trail, a 25.5 mile trail, a 26 mile trail, and a 26.5 mile trail. So by that standard, I have shown you every official end to this trail. So I don't know exactly where it ends, but for us, it's going to end right here at mile marker 26.5. Now I'm going to go a little further down the trail just to show you guys. They have trail parking there. It gives you access to the Hebron Trail. And there's a restroom there, so I'll just ride up a little, show you guys that, and then I'm gonna be heading back. So again, looking at this map, it's really hard to say where it ends, because according to this map, the Prairie Trail ends at the border. And then this is just known as trail, 1.5 miles, and we're right here. And then this is the Hebron Trail. So this is a confusing map. The Fox River Trail and the Prairie Trail are my two go-to trails in my local area. They're quite long, they're mostly paved, and areas of them are quite beautiful. So I just finished the video of the Prairie Trail. I will eventually start the video for the Fox River Trail. I have to figure out the logistics a little more because it's almost 40 miles one way. So once I have that figured out, I'm going to make a video covering the entirety of the Fox River Trail. So I showed you mine, well, at least one of mine. So show me yours. What is your go-to trail where you live? Share it in the comments, or even better, make a video of it and let me know.